ladies and gentlemen. Joining me today, I have actress Julie Seidel. She's been in quite a couple independent films. She just worked with us on a film called Are You Worthy, which was nominated for finalists in Dunwich Film Festivals. Julie, if you could expand on a little bit more of the work that you've done.
Sure, yeah. So as far as projects that are out already, I was in a short horror called Video Hearts. I was
Okay.
also in Fake Out Fray 2. Roll for Terror is also another short horror that I did that just recently came out. Mokos, the miniseries. I was in an episode. I'm going to be in another one coming up soon.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then I was just in Nashville filming a short called 3 Days. And then I'm working on another horror movie this weekend.
Wow, you're keeping very busy, aren't you?
Yes, trying to.
What's your favorite project that you've done so far?
Oh wow. They're also nice. I actually really like the one that we worked on, Are You
Okay.
Worthy? I thought it was just so fun. I thought the
It
script was
was.
really fun, and I think we had a good time making it.
It was. And the cast were just so amazing. You guys were so amazing to work with.
Thank
So,
you. So are you.
um, so if you don't mind, I have a few questions for you today.
Sure.
Um, so my first question for you is what inspired you to get into acting and what advice do you have for people getting into it?
Yeah, so I just got into it very recently within the past 3.5 years or so. And I think that the interest was always there, but I just didn't pursue it until recently. But I just really love doing it. I love the storytelling. I love getting into the psychology of the characters and their motivation, and just getting to act as someone or be in situations you wouldn't normally get to do, I think is really fun. For advice, I think it's good to just be persistent. You're going to face a lot of rejection, and just if you really love it, just keep going, and just try to make connections with people and network. And yeah, just I think just practicing as much as you can is helpful as well.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you talk about the psychology of the character because when you're writing a character, right? Like you're you're kind of seeing you're not just seeing what's on the pages, you're kind of thinking about what their life was like, what their mindset is like of the situation. You're thinking about what their whole ordeal that they're going through, and people don't realize what actually goes into creating a character.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's so much that goes into it. And I actually studied psychology in school, so I think maybe there's some connection there that why I had the interest in both. I don't know.
Does psychology help you get into like the role of a character?
I think for me it did. I think it definitely helped me with understanding the character's motivations more when reading the script. So I think it did.
Oh, very nice. So was this something that did you ever go to school for it, or did it kind of just fall into your lap a little bit?
Yeah, so when I was in middle school, I took two acting classes, and then I just didn't really do anything with it for a while. And then several years ago, maybe starting around 10 years ago, I started doing some background work. And I
Okay.
really liked just being on set and getting to do a little bit of acting. And then I saw a casting call. One of the extras casting companies posted one for a speaking role. And then I like usually they don't post that. Usually it's different casting agencies doing the speaking roles. So I just didn't even realize. I think like that was something I could do without like, an agent or. So and after that, I just applied for it, and I just became really interested since then. I've just been doing it consistently since then, which has been great.
That's great. I've always when I started filming, I think it was around the same amount of time as you. It was about 10 years ago. And part of it that always stopped me from going further was the thought of needing an agent. You don't realize that you don't really need an agent for that stuff, but you need to like be able to talk to people. You need to be able to network, like you were saying. It's very important to keep in close contact with the people that you work with and, get to know them and let them get to know you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's definitely very important. And yeah, I had no idea there were so many opportunities and also that you could do it pretty much anywhere. I didn't know there were so many independent films in Pennsylvania or New Jersey that were close by where I live. So that was pretty cool too.
So, that's actually another thing that I wanted to ask you. You mentioned that you travel a lot for work, right? How do you get the courage to, stop what you're doing and go to these places? You might not even know some of these people. You're just going, like, how do you do research enough to verify certain things?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a concern, but I think part of it just really loving it and wanting to do it and taking whatever opportunity I could. But definitely, you should research if you are going to work with someone, the director or whoever, definitely look them up and see what else they've done. Um, but yeah, I think, and I also just love to travel as well. So getting to do both, getting to travel and act is really cool. And I think, I'm trying to like get out of my comfort zone and be more adventurous. So I think that's part of it as well.
I think the thrill of adventure is what pushes a lot of us to do this.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
know, we live, a lot of people don't realize that actors, directors, cinematographers, they live a normal life as well.
Mhm.
You know, we don't get rich off of one or two films, one or two like projects. We keep pushing, and when we're not pushing, we do have regular jobs. We do have regular um, uh, responsibilities to work with. So the adventure that comes with it and making the connections that goes with it too, I think it's so cool. It's such a cool aspect.
It really is, yeah.
Do you have any favorite locations that you film in?
Well, I worked in Hawaii on a
Wow.
film. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I was filming a movie called Time Exposure there. It's not out yet, but we filmed in Hawaii in October 2023, and then we finished filming in California earlier this year. So both of those locations were great. It was Northern California and the redwoods. It was so beautiful. So yeah, that would be probably my favorite.
Would you go back?
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice. So my next question for you, actually kind of leads with this conversation. We were talking about like some challenges and stuff. What for you, what are some struggles as a woman being in an industry that is mostly dominated by men, and how do you overcome it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been pretty lucky with my experience. I haven't had a lot of bad experiences, but you definitely there's a lot of sexism, ageism. You have to worry about someone assaulting you or being predatory with you. You definitely
Of
want to make
course.
sure you're safe and everything. You don't want to. You have to worry about being exploited or objectified in a role. So there's a lot of challenges that come with it.
Do you try and avoid being typecasted? Do you go for different roles?
Yeah, yeah, I would say I've been pretty lucky so far. I definitely the type of movie I've done, I do mostly horror movies, but I
Okay.
do feel like but I like that. And I do feel like my roles have been fairly different, so I've been lucky so far not to get typecasted.
Good, good. What would you say is how do you overcome those challenges? Like when you're in front of them, right? Like I'm sure you don't just shirk away from them, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think just trying to keep yourself safe and trying to have a good support system around you and just doing your best, taking opportunities you can. Sometimes there might not be that much you can do about things like sexism or ageism, but just trying to be as successful as you can and taking opportunities that are good and safe for you.
I think it's important to document situations that come up as well. In this industry, right? Like unless you're at a huge studio production, there's not an HR team. There's
Mhm.
not a professional management team that can handle disputes.
Mhm.
Um, I would say documenting and remembering what these people do is
Yes,
definitely very, very forthcoming in how to handle it.
definitely. Yeah,
And you also learn who you can and can't work with as well.
exactly. Yes.
Um, what type of projects do you not go for?
Oh, that's a really great question. I'm really open to any genre of movie. I think the only thing I wouldn't do is if I didn't agree with like, the message of the film, or if if it had certain views that I didn't agree with. I think that's the only way I wouldn't do it. But I'm open to all types of movies.
Okay. Okay. So listen, let me ask you, do you have anything? So you were talking to me about psychology, right? Other than psychology, do you have any preparations into getting into a role? Like, do you have any routine that you do to get into the role, like into the character's headspace?
I don't really have a routine so much, but definitely just reading over the script several times and reading it carefully and making sure you get everything and then just trying to figure out the characters' motivations and their emotions that they're feeling, and then I just make sure that the lines really well, and then I just try to portray whatever emotion they're feeling as genuinely as possible. So sometimes it helps to think of a time where I've felt that emotion, and then that can kind of help bring it out in the moment.
Can you like cry on cue?
I sometimes sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, yeah, it's weird. Sometimes it just doesn't want to come out, but
Understood.
yeah.
If if there was something that I'm trying to word this in the best way possible. If there was a role that you really wanted, but it conflicted with like you were saying earlier, something that you didn't feel comfortable with, but you still
Uh-huh.
wanted to do the role, would you still pursue it or would you turn it down in that sense?
Oh, that's a really great question. I think it depended on if it was the message of the movie versus just that character, because I'd be willing to play like a villain character.
Okay.
So I think if it's just the character, that's fine. But if I thought, that the movie was kind of promoting messages I didn't agree with, then I probably wouldn't.
Like if it was showcasing the villain side more, you probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's completely fair and understandable. I mean, you don't want to I don't want to use the word tarnish, but you don't want to hinder your career in a certain light because
Right.
you want to portray yourself as somebody good and lighthearted for the most part. But being a villain is kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, it can definitely be fun.
I uh I used to write stories and characters with my
Uh-huh.
buddy. You met him at the filming.
Uh-huh.
And we used to like create characters like superheroes and we would jump around a room like fighting out playing these roles and just getting into it. And I always
Uh-huh.
loved being the villain for some reason. Just being the
Yeah.
villain was just so much more fun. Anyone can play a hero,
Right,
you know.
exactly.
Not everyone can play a villain.
Right, exactly. And it's yeah, like no, I definitely can see that it can be kind of a healthy outlet for for certain emotions.
You get a lot of uh pent up emotions out easily that way.
Yes.
But yeah, I've always respected an actor or actress who can I've always said this. If an actor or an actress can make you feel the emotion you're supposed to feel towards that character, they did their job.
Right. Mhm.
Like, did you watch Game of Thrones when it was out?
No.
No, okay. So there was a character that everyone hated. His name was Joffrey Baratheon, and he was the most, at the time, spoiled on TV brat. Like he was a brat with a crown. And there has never been a more satisfying ending for a villain's arc than his.
Uh-huh.
You you wanted the worst possible outcome for him, and when it finally happened, you just started cheering and chant like you were
Uh-huh.
happy that it happened. I actually was fortunate enough to meet the actor,
Oh, nice.
and I wanted to. I had this whole plan. I was gonna go up to him. I was gonna say, how could you act this way? How could you do that? Then this, that, and third. And then I met him, and he was just the nicest person in the world. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that to him.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling how some people can get into that role. It really
Yeah,
is. Um,
the talent. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I could ever, to a certain extent, I don't know if I could ever watch myself being a villain.
Mhm.
That is just so, that's such a crazy thought process.
Yeah, it would be strange. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite villain?
Oh, not not really. Who's your favorite?
I would have to say Darth Vader.
Okay,
My
yeah.
favorite. Hands down. Always has been since I was about 4 years old,
Oh,
at
cool.
least. So, um, so Julia, I have one more question for you.
Uh-huh.
What do you hope to achieve as an actress one day? And do you have any plans to get there?
Yeah, so I mean, really, I just want to keep doing it and keep working consistently. I would love to, of course, do bigger projects or do maybe like a TV series someday. But I'd be fine with also just doing independent films. I think, I've had a lot of great experiences with those. And yeah, right now I'm just trying to take what opportunities I can and just keep practicing, networking, and yeah,
Well, I definitely will say this. I do hope I get to work with you again someday.
yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
I have a couple of projects coming up, so we'll
Oh,
definitely be in talks.
yes.
Um, well, Julie, I would like to thank you for taking time. I know this is a little shorter of an episode, but I don't want to tie up too much time. So, thank you so much, Julie. I really
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Of
Yeah, you're
course.
welcome.